Today's video is once again sponsored by the Safety Say What campaign. Stay tuned to learn more. Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Spider-Man Miles Morales video, and today what I got for you guys is going to be an explanation of the ending for the game, as well as of course the post-credit scene. We're going to go over it, we're going to talk about it, and yes, spoilers ahead. Before we get into everything though, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if at any point you enjoy the video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. So if you enjoy the video at any point, leaving a like rating would be awesome. And also, if you're new here and you're looking forward to seeing some more Spider-Man Miles Morales or Spider-Man Remastered gameplay, well then I got you covered. I still got a couple of more videos planned for both games, including the news and updates, and as well some free roam gameplay. Hopefully there's going to be some DLC for Miles Morales. That way we got a lot more to cover, but we'll see. And then of course, when Spider-Man 2 is inevitably announced, you can bet that I am going to keep you guys up to date on everything regarding that game. So if all that sounds good to you, well then if you'd like, you can subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be immediately notified when a video goes live. And although I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who have already seen the post-credit scene for Miles Morales and already know what the spoilers are, if you don't want to know, if you don't want to see, well I'm gonna give you guys an ample enough spoiler warning. And with that said, why don't we check out today's sponsor? So as I mentioned, today's video is sponsored by the Safety Say What campaign. And at its core, what this is about is just promoting a safe and healthy work environment. Especially for a lot of the folks here in Ontario, you first of all need to know the hazards of your workplace. Second of all, making sure you are participating in creating a healthy and safe work environment. And then third of all, have the ability to refuse an unhealthy work environment without being penalized. You need to know that the place that you're working at is somewhere where you don't have to worry about your safety for the foreseeable future. They've also got a game online. You can check it out. It's a browser game. I'll leave a link in the description box below. It's called Hazard Hunch. And essentially what the game is trying to promote is just a fun way to learn and have an understanding of the hazard that you may run into at your workplace. It's a tongue-in-cheek approach to teaching, but at the end of the day, safety is the key. So check out all the links in the description box below. Make sure you use that hashtag SafetySayWhat. Follow them on Instagram at SafetySayWhat as well. Everything's going to be linked in the description. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring us today. And again, what's most important here is for you guys, stay safe at work. Please, please stay safe at work. And with all that being said, enjoy the video. So thanks again to the Safety Say What campaign for sponsoring another one of our videos, and now let's jump in, let's get full spoilery with Spider-Man Miles Morales. I think the best way to kick this off is by just showing you the post-credit scene, so let's watch.
Residents of Harlem are still feeling the effects of the recent citywide uprising of the group known as the Underground. While the Roxxon Corporation deals with a rash of lawsuits, newly elected City Councilwoman Rio Morales addressed the media yesterday to make a plea for additional public funds to assist with the...
Vitals are good, circulatory system healthy, brain activity normal.
He's been in there long enough.
Mr. Osborn, I understand he's your son, but his
I want him
disease could...
out. Kurt.
But we may be underestimating the potential danger.
I said, get him out! Now!
Okay, so there's a couple of things to break down here. The first thing to point out is if you're listening and you hear that news report at the very beginning, you'll know that the post-credit scene takes place after the events of the main story for Spider-Man Miles Morales. And what we can take from that, considering where this game takes place after the events of Spider-Man PS4, is that it's been a year of testing and trying to figure out a cure to save Harry Osborn. And who is Norman Osborn enlisted to help him save Harry? Well, it's none other than Curt Connors. And I think through that reveal, it's a very safe bet that in some way he's going to become the Lizard in the second game, and he'll be one of the antagonists we face off against. But the major thing going on here is that Harry's awake. He is aware of what's going on. You hear that his vitals are pretty good. He's in solid shape, and whatever they've been doing in the last year is clearly working. But come on, once they get him out of the tank, we know everything's gonna go wrong. He's gonna become Venom. Now, whether that's something that happens like right away, or if that's going to be something we see as a bit of a slow burn through the entire story of Spider-Man 2, well, I guess we'll see. But another big question that's up in the air now is, will Peter get the black suit? Will he get the symbiote himself? How will they integrate that into the story, if at all? And now here's my pitch. I think I've said this before. You may have heard me say it before, but let me just reiterate it once again. Harry becomes Venom, but in that, the symbiote is what's keeping him alive. So if it's removed, if he loses it, that is it. Harry's disease will progress. It will kill him. This, of course, creates the moral dilemma for Spider-Man. It creates that tension between his life as Spider-Man and his duties in that, and as well his life as Peter Parker and his relationships through that. I think, though, ultimately, to create that emotion, you have to take down Harry. He loses the symbiote, and with that, the disease progresses. Harry dies, but a piece of the symbiote gets on Peter. Of course, Peter starts to become evil. He's the symbiote Spider-Man, and now the game shifts perspectives and you're playing as Miles with the ultimate responsibility of having to take down Peter Parker's Spider-Man. The last bit of speculation that I have, or at least the last part of my pitch, is that in the death of Harry Osborn, now fully disgraced from his own company, Norman goes crazy and becomes the Green Goblin, hell-bent on killing Spider-Man. I'm just saying, Insomniac, if you need somebody to be a consultant, I got you. But yeah, that's sort of my outline and pitch for what I'd like to see from a Spider-Man 2 and 3, provided that they don't make another in-between game like they did with Spider-Man Miles Morales. We also know from a phone call that takes place between Miles and Peter in Spider-Man Miles Morales that Peter might actually be looking to take a teaching job, which could be interesting. And of course, in general, they're both the Spider-Men now, protecting New York City. No one's off in Simcaria anymore. They are working together, and Miles has become his own Spider-Man. I'm telling you, even if some people are going to be opposed to this idea, in my opinion, I think if they implemented some sort of online co-op for Spider-Man 2, that would be awesome. The ability to be free roaming with your friend around New York City as two different Spider-Men could be so cool. And then as well, if it's coming exclusively to the PlayStation 5, them taking full advantage of that hardware, imagine how much bigger the open world could be. Oh man, the possibilities are endless. But okay, to recap from the top, the post-credit scene in Spider-Man Miles Morales takes place a year after the post-credit scene we saw in Spider-Man PS4. Kurt Connors has actually been there helping Norman behind the scenes in trying to cure Harry. Harry still has the symbiote, we can see that from his perspective, and Norman is demanding Harry's release from that tank, which is led by some apprehension from Kurt Connors. And you all know my prediction, so why don't I now kick it to you guys? Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. What does this all mean? What do you hope it could lead to, or what do you think it could lead to in a Spider-Man 2? I want to hear you sound off in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, if you liked my explanation of the ending for Spider-Man Miles Morales, well then, if you could consider leaving a like rating on the video, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen and make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are going to be in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.